Meghan Markle has announced she's returning to Instagram, and experts say she'll be paid up to £1 million per post. Is it true or is it false?
In her dreams.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Aspirations, not commitments.
Well, what do you think Meghan normally dreams of? Is it more money and being Queen?
More money than the Queen had.
But the thing that really staggers me about this is the people from Spotify, when they had this big podcast thing, said that they were lazy, they were useless, they didn't do anything. So which company is going to partner with them so Meghan could sell them stuff? But after the fact that they don't do anything.
The same ones that employed Dylan Mulvaney?
Yeah,
probably.
Do you think that they're going to try and Bud Light themselves?
Yeah. Well, having worked in PR, you always ham up what you're going to get paid for something. So the £1 million is probably 10,000 quid.
She's kind of just become a cheaper version of a Kardashian. You know, she started off wanting to be like this kind of big social influencer. She wanted this kind of politics side of thing. That just seems to have gone completely disastrously for her. And now it just seems to be nothing more than I'm just going to hawk some products over Instagram and
Well, I've said this
check.
before, and I'll say it again. I'm not going to be lectured to on feminism by, a B-movie actress that married a prince.
Yeah.
and didn't know what she was getting herself into.
Apparently.
I love that. She could have even gone, I didn't even know who he was.
She tried that.
She did.
She tried that,
Do you know, that was the moment that I thought this woman is full of it. Because I'm not being funny. Who doesn't Google a person they're going on a date on, let alone it being Prince Harry?
Have you seen the pictures of when they started going up? She's sort of staring at him adoringly and everything. It's so sickening and so fake. And then by the end of it, she's sort of like guiding him with the hand on his back, like, do as you're told. Yeah.
Let me tell you, and I will say this from experience, nobody gazes longingly at a ginger person. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They might have a great deal of respect for your success, but look of love, that will not happen. That will not happen. Anyway, so has Meghan decided she's going to go back on Instagram and have experts claim that she'll make £1 million per post? Is it true or is it false?
It is true, but the expert, X is a has-been and a spurt is a drip under pressure.
It's absolutely true! Hey! OK, Sadiq Khan is considering a pay per mile for motorists. Is it true or is it false?
Well, it's true. I mean, it's contradictory, actually, because he says that he's not, but his transport policy says that he is. But the fact of the matter is, if you drive in London, you can't get anywhere, so a pay-per-mile scheme is a complete and utter waste of time. It just shows he has no commercial nous whatsoever. He should charge for every time he just... If you did a pay-per... we could be the richest city on earth.
You know, I was about to chime in there saying, are you claiming Sadiq Khan's a liar? But you just did it for me. I mean, look, on a serious note, Lance, as a businessman in London who does deliver around the city, you must be very worried about the way that the transport network's going.
It's just impossible. I mean, when the congestion charge came in 20 years ago, we worked out in that 20 years, we have been charged on our vans having to make deliveries over £500,000.
Wow.
Now, we're a tiny business.
That's
so
extra
what
money.
it
But
well,
you've
it just
got
means
the relief of knowing it's been well spent.
So, it's mad, but it's bad for business. It's just everybody hates it. The ULEZ is just a disaster. Everybody, I mean, it's great because it's going to kill. It'll be his poll tax.
Yeah.
All the indicators show. I mean, they said 1 in 10 cars are ULEZ uncompliant, which is complete nonsense because in outer London it's much higher than that because that includes richer areas of central London. But why would you install all the cameras and all the infrastructure if indeed most of the cars were going to be compliant?
Exactly.
It just shows you it's paid.
What I don't understand, Andrew, is this. Time and time again, we see politicians doing things that appear to be politically suicidal, like the ULEZ charge, and they seem to think they can get away with it. What has gone wrong with politics?
Oh, well, it's all about taxing people more. They can't really put direct taxes up much higher because the pips are squeaking. So now it's other charges, which is ULEZ and travel charges. And the sad thing is that, people in Uxbridge and South Ruislip voted Conservative thinking that they would stop Khan's ULEZ charge. But, I mean, then a few days later, the letter comes out where Grant Shapps told him to do it in 2020 and get on with it and get the money in.
Yeah,
so
I think
it's a conspiracy against the people.
But what worries me is, I mean, I appreciate you're now Reclaim MP. I think you're one of the greatest Conservatives in the country, but nonetheless, the party has effectively got rid of you. But every single political party, apart from Reclaim and Reform, seem to agree on everything.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty clear all the horses are in the same stable, aren't they?
When you've got politicians that all agree on acting without the interests of the public...
You've worked in Parliament. You know the old saying in the Houses of Parliament that when all the parties agree, it's going to be bad for the people.
Yeah.
And it's always true, isn't
That's
it?
absolutely right.
I'm thinking about
The tide's
HS2, things like that.
I think the tide's turning because ULEZ isn't really about emissions. It's all about net zero, stopping people driving.
Yep.
All the main parties are sort of in agreement on that, and the tide is turning. People are slowly turning against all this climate change stuff because they know it's impoverishing us.
What upsets me is I've got no problem with attempting to be greener. I think we all agree with that.
But genuinely green.
But you know, you look
at the waistcoat.
Hey! Have you seen the film The
On this
Matrix?
side of the table, we've gone very pro-green.
Liberace wrong, he wants it back.
But you know, I saw that what happened in Port Talbot with Tata Steel. What did you think they meant when they said moving to a green economy? What they meant was tax old businesses out of existence and move them all to China.
Move all the carbon to China.
Well, I think there's one aspect of this that Sadiq Khan's got caught out, and I know, Andrew, you'll be an expert in this area, and this is to kind of change the word.
Sorry, it's the phone. We've given the number to Wokeries. Hello? Who is it? Oh, my God, it's Rishi Sunak. Hey! He said, Andrew Bridgen should not be on your show. I hate him with every fibre of my being because he has a personality and I don't. Quite right, Richie. There you go. So Bridgen, note you have been censured by the Prime Minister.
Not for the first
Not
time.
the first
but I
time.
have got a question for him first Wednesday back, so he'll be very worried.
He'll be absolutely
Is it
delighted.
like deal or no deal? Can you speak back? It's like call the banker.
What would you say?
Oh, I will tell you,
Banker, yeah.
the person,
It's a banker,
the person on the end of that phone is a banker. Believe me.
Big banker.
OK, Sadiq Khan has considered a pay-per-mile scheme. Is it true or is it false?
True.
True.
It's absolutely true! And now for the scores from the Woke Wabbits!
Really?
Hello, Woke Wabbit.
You all right, man?
Now, Woke Wabbit, I want to ask you, what do you think about Andrew Bridgen's stance on politics?
I think he's a hardliner. I don't like him at all. I think he's a bigot.
He's a bigot, is he?
Yeah.
Why is he a bigot?
I don't have to explain myself to you.
Do you not want Andrew to tickle you like a Lord?
Do not tickle the Woke Wabbit. We've actually had complaints from the bosses.
It's a safeguarding issue.
OK, yes.
It's a safeguarding issue, yeah.
Yeah, it's a safeguarding issue.
You flapping?
OK, so the Woke Wabbit is going to have to go back to his safe space in a moment. But before that, what are the scores?
2-0.
2-0. Hey! Thank you so much to the Woke Wabbit. OK, the next question. Hospital staff have been told to learn 150 different genders at Great Ormond Street. Is it true or is it false?
Is it only 150? I thought it was more than that.
Well,
these days.
sometimes, Pete, that can be what the question entails. It could be, is it only 150
Yeah.
genders?
Great Ormond Street, isn't that children's
It's the children's hospital, and this is the thing.
Jesus.
So they've opened up a new wing of the hospital to do with gender-affirming care for children.
Oh, gosh.
And there's a lady involved in the kind of the charity side of it called Louise Parks, and she's one of these complete trans activists. She's taken in by this ideology. I think she should step down from her position, if I'm being brutally honest, because she signed this open letter. Basically saying that, you know, anybody who's against this stuff is on the wrong side of history and all the rest of it. This concerns me greatly because Great Ormond Street has an international reputation. It is one of the best hospitals and one of the best things in this country. And I tell you right now, if it's been captured by this lot, that's the end of it.
Pete,
Well, you go woke, go broke, and it's a great charity, and it'll be a great shame. I mean, quite honestly, if they got rid of all these diversity officers, I think we could have a lot more frontline staff.
Well, I'm going to say this to you, Andrew, and I'm going to issue a bit of a threat here, or a challenge. You are the only member of Parliament in the studio now. Can you tell me what a woman is?
Yes, it's an adult female human with 2 X chromosomes.
Hey! Well done. Now I will tell you.
Oh, no!
Hello? Oh, my God, it's Harriet Harman. Hello, Harriet.
Person.
Harper, she doesn't like Harperson. She's saying Bridgen is wrong. A female can have a penis, and she's got no. What? Oh my God! Well, I never knew that. I never knew that.
Can I just say something as well? This is particularly heartbreaking. If your namesake Peter Pan, because of course they get all the money. Is it J.M. Bryan?
Yeah, J.M. Barrie. Yeah,
Barrie. Sorry, who gives all the money? I wonder what his family would think about
Well,
like that.
this is the thing, isn't it? Because the Great Ormond Street came back and said, because they had somebody down from an organisation called Global Butterflies, which is one of these trans charities, and they gave a speech at the opening. And I just
Hang on, is it Global Butterflies? Because it like goes in a chrysalis and then changes.
Honestly, I think that's probably what it is.
Oh
I
my
genuinely wonder
God.
that's
It
the
becomes
man.
what it's supposed to be.
The interesting thing is, the kind of spokesperson for the hospital came out and said, well, we invite lots of people down to give speeches and all the rest of it. I said, I wonder how many people on the other side of this argument have you invited down to give a speech?
But
it always seems to be in one direction these people get invited in.
Pete, that reminds me of the extremist mosques. That's always their excuse,
Yeah,
isn't it?
always.
It was just a speaker, we're not responsible.
Are we going to have 150 different sets of toilets?
Well, apparently that's the one thing.
How's the plumbing going to work?
No, I'm sorry. Red card, no, yellow card. How's the plumbing going to work in a debate about trans is not an acceptable conversation. It might be after the watershed, but we're not doing it.
And children's
Is this
toilets.
just an example of government waste? Because according to Google, there are only 107 genders. So if the hospital are supposed to be studying 150, it means that 43 genders being studied that don't even exist.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was
amazing.
Only heterosexuals that bred, but obviously they're breeding.
But on a serious note, so these they called it gender affirming care. I think the use of the word care there is an oxymoron. It really is. And you know, this is not care. This is abuse.
I completely agree. And it is one of those kind of things that these lobbies do now. Is they change the language of things.
Yes.
So like we say gender.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Gender affirming care can be anything from therapy to puberty blockers and surgery.
Like when I call
But it
my
all
mum
falls-
special.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It falls under this big umbrella, and it's literally so that they can say, "Oh, you're just against this stuff." I was like, "No, we're against a very specific thing."
I'm against it.
Yeah.
I would ban it for anyone under 18. When you're 18, you can make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Or even
But
21.
leave the children alone.
Yeah.
Just very quickly before we move on, I just want to ask, you, Pete, do you think that the Tavistock Clinic and these gender, what are they called, affirming care places, do you think they're the next child abuse scandal? Because I remember when I grew up in the 1980s, there'd be all these programmes about Welsh care homes and child abuse, and all of it was tolerated at the time, from what I can see, and then suddenly it all exploded. Is this the next big thing?
Without a shadow of a doubt, we're literally sat waiting for it. I mean, Tavistock is a prime example of this because they've already got in trouble. I mean, it was classed as inadequate care by one of the independent quality commission boards, and yet I think it's still going. It's still not been shut down, and so it's just one of those things. He was sat waiting for the next big scandal.
But Andrew's one of the only people in Parliament that's spoken against this, aren't you?
And,
You're the only person.
Parliament voted down my bill, the Child Protection and Parental Rights Bill,
Yes, I
which
remember
would have
that.
outlawed trans ideology in schools and social transitioning before people are 18.
Wow.
Which I thought was quite
Just
reasonable.
sounds like sensible policy, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, like telling parents if
quite.
they thought there might be a problem and your child might be thinking about socially transitioning in school, they wouldn't tell the parents. I mean,
wow.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable the way you've been labelled as an extremist for what sounds eminently sensible to certainly me, and I imagine most of viewers.
The further a society moves from the truth, the more they decry the speakers of it.
Yes, absolutely. OK, well, look, let's reword the question based on what's been said. I will now read the question like this. Has Great Ormond Street Hospital staff only been told that there are 150 genders? Have they been told? So if it's 150, that's true. If it's more or less, then it's false.
I think this one's true.
I think it probably,
I'm gonna go
unfortunately,
true.
it probably is.
We'll go, unfortunately, true.
It is, unfortunately, true! This week, Sadiq Khan introduced his ULEZ charge, which means that certain cars are going to have to pay to come right across London. I've been out and about asking people what they think of this new tax. Excuse me, what do you think of the ULEZ charge?
The what?
The ULEZ charge.
What's that?
I can see you've got your congestion charging thing in there.
That, yeah, I'm not from London, I'm from Wales.
Could show me
mate.
that. Show me that. So you've got in trouble already?
Yes.
You've been fined already?
I have.
Bloody hell. All
know.
right.
Thank you.
Got an opinion on ULEZ? ULEZ charge? No. Chicken cottage van.
I've seen you on TalkTV.
On what?
The woke that was.
Can't even remember the name. Can't even remember the name. What do you think of Sadiq Khan?
Oh my God, he's awful. He
Is
needs
it-
to go.
Where does he need to go?
I don't know. Anywhere down the toilet.
Do you think Sadiq Khan's attacking working class people?
There's a few words I like to say about him, but he's a f***ing useless
What do you think of Sadiq Khan?
I think he's a
Why?
because of what he's just done, the ULEZ.
But surely you shouldn't mind the ULEZ because taxis are exempt, aren't they?
Doesn't make no difference. I'm thinking of other people.
Oh my God, I've seen your game show on the TV.
No, sorry, but
No,
I'm
don't
not
say-
a driver either.
I'm
hungover today.
Right. What do you think of the ULEZ charge?
Good.
Is it good?
Nice.
Whoa! I'll race you! I'll race you!
I've seen you on TV.
Hey! What's your name, pal?
Timmy.
Okay, Timmy, listen, what do you think of the ULEZ charge?
Well, I really do not know what is really going on, but I think I really don't know what is going on.
Is the reason you like me because you don't know what's going on? Do you think it's hard now to be an ordinary working person in London?
Definitely.
Why?
Oh, because everything is becoming expensive now and salary is not increasing.
Look, get involved. Look, sit with me, sit with me, sit with me. Okay, hello. So you're currently on TalkTV, do not swear. What's her name?
Julie. I'll let Julie speak for herself.
Go on, Julie.
I'm Julie Brown. Hello.
Excuse me, sir. What do you think of the ULEZ charge?
I don't know, not speaking English.
Okay, what language are you going to pretend you can speak?
Romania.
Face a play, da numa numaye, numa numaye, numa numa numaye, chibutao chi jagastati day. Hey, well done, well done.
That was The Woke That Was. Continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
Okay, Donald Trump Jr. is selling T-shirts with his dad's mugshot on in order to raise money for his legal defence.
Yeah, Donald Trump, definitely, I can imagine doing
Yeah, he
this.
must be. I mean, he's the master at turning a crisis into opportunity, and he's the ultimate salesman. I actually think it's a brilliant idea, and next time I have legal fees, I'm going to sell or give my lawyers my T-shirts and just say, have my T-shirts instead. I'm going to try it.
Have you had a mugshot done?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm waiting for that moment.
But actually, talking of potential prosecutions and whatever, I think, are you worried that the things that we're now talking about openly could potentially get us in trouble? Because there is a criminalisation of politics. Donald Trump is part of it. The idea that you no longer politically argue against anyone, you try and find a reason to prosecute them.
Are you worried about getting into trouble, Lance?
No.
No, he's not worried at all.
He'll just hit him with a big salmon.
We have very sharp knives in our factory, so we'll come in.
What I find quite interesting about the mugshot, because I remember it must be one of the most viewed photos in the world now. It has to be.
It looks so good as well. It's
because
such a
I
good
want
picture.
It's like this, isn't it?
Pointing the finger.
Yeah, I want to know how long they stood in the mirror practicing for that picture. Because I tell you right now, their PR team took the power of that photograph right away from the Democrats. Because I thought the Democrats thought we can have this everywhere. And I tell you right now, they neutralised that threat like I've never seen. From a PR perspective, it was a massive...
I'll tell you what I did see. When he got off the plane, obviously he got into all those armour-plated vehicles. It was only about 5 minutes before his arrival at Fulton County Jail when all of the motorbikes arrived. I'm sure it must have been something like the state governor went, well, look, let's give him 25 motorbikes just to look good on camera.
We were covering it live, weren't we?
We were covering it
Talk TV. So, yeah, every single second.
When you've got the local black residents out on the streets as the cavalcade taking him for indictment are going by, shouting, "Free Trump." I think it's backfired on the Democrats.
I think so.
So free Trump has backfired. Do you know what? 20 years ago, that would have been a very different comment.
Oh, you're so vulgar, Jay.
Ooh. Yeah. But did anybody catch the Republican debate?
I did.
I caught up on it, and I always say that with these kind of political debates, I don't know if you agree with me, Andrew, but I always say it's not who won, it's who lost the least. Because I tell you right now, I looked at that field of candidates. I was like, none of you have beaten Donald Trump. Not a single one of them I thought has the stones to do it.
No, but
they
the
were
best thing
competing for
about
second,
it,
weren't
the
they?
best thing about it is every single one of them was pro-fossil fuel.
Yeah,
They all champion fossil. They all, all anti-climate change, all pro-fossil fuel.
That's a vote,
Why can't we have that with our politicians over here?
Well, I was the only one that spoke in the net zero debate against net zero and said it. Even if we did it and it worked, it wouldn't make any difference because we're less than 1% of.
It just amazes me with all of this because you know, even if you are a genuine environmentalist, even if you're deadly serious about the sort of net zero agenda, the idea that you would bring it in so quickly as to push people into genuine poverty, I can't understand why politicians love that idea.
And I can't see what the electorate have got against policies that will make them poorer and colder.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with these people? No thanks.
Absolutely. OK. Has Donald Trump Jr. decided to sell T-shirts with his father's mugshot on?
Yeah.
It's absolutely true! Right, OK. Disney has announced that they're producing a remake of Cinderella. It's going to be gender fluid and LGBTQ friendly, and it's going to be called Cinderfella. Is it true or is it false?
No. I want this not to be true, but I also kind of want this to be true as well, just to see how far down the rabbit hole this lot will go.
Cinderfella.
But let's be real about Disney. They have really shot themselves in the foot over the last few years. The last few major releases have been complete flops. I mean, the Indiana Jones one made less than $300 million at the box office. The biggest one, I think, was the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, they just seem to keep going down this really heavy diversity focus, and it's just not winning audiences.
I watched Indiana Jones. He virtually came in on a Zimmer frame.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Is that the one with the Fleabag guy?
Yeah. But no, the thing I find interesting about Disney is they focus so hard on the diversity aspect of it, and I compare it with the Barbie movie, because if you remember the rollout for Barbie, we didn't really know what that film was about. There was one trailer and 3 stills from the movie release, and that was it. The controversy came after the release date. Disney just seemed to be stoking up controversy before anybody's seen the film. So no one's going to watch the films. I don't understand this. The kind of PR logic to this.
Andrew, we've had a problem. We've had a problem in this show multiple times where stories have been false.
I'm beginning to think I might have a problem myself.
We've had stories that have actually been jokes which have eventually come true, and I just wonder whether that's because people sit round and try to come up with the most funny, the most ludicrous and offensive thing in order to get free publicity.
Yes, but also, I mean, the woke agenda, it's never going to stop. You give them an inch, they're taking a mile, they want more. It's a continuum, isn't it? I mean, and it's got to...
And it's part...
You can't tell truth from reality most of the time. I mean, this Cinderella, it could be... I don't know, it could be real. I mean,
fiction has to be believable. The truth doesn't anymore, does it?
Disney Pixar already had a movie with a non-binary character in it, and that was a movie called Elementals. And it was it's Disney's worst performing film of all time.
They also had a film with a character called Kink, which was a character which dressed in bondage gear, and it was for little
What were you
girls.
watching, Lois?
That wasn't Disney. That wasn't Disney. It's like that time. It's like that time my mate got
That's
a bit.
not what I watch anyway.
It's like that time my mate got a bit drunk at Blockbusters and had a film called Rambo. And he thought,
Oh no!
Hello.
Rambo.
Yes. No. Oh, Rambo. Yes. Yes. OK. Oh, the editor. Yeah, I see. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll change it. It's like my friend who once had Rambo accidentally. OK. So, has Disney announced a gender-fluid Cinderella film? Is it true or is it false?
Next year, I think, but not this year.
I don't think this year. We'll go false.
It's absolutely false.
Thank goodness.
OK, now time to talk about our prize for this week. This is our first anniversary of That Was the Woke That Was. We're absolutely delighted. And the prize is attendance at our first anniversary party. We've hired a yacht. And that is the prize for the winner. And for the losers, the prize is to pay for the yacht at the first anniversary party. And I will tell you, you could either pay for the party tomorrow or independently fund Britain's nuclear deterrent. Right? And so we're hoping Lance is going to lose because Andrew's been a bit short of money recently. He's had 1 or 2 legal problems. Anyway, OK, migrant smugglers are offering a special Kids Go Free deal on Channel crossings. Is it true or is it false?
You know, no one's... I mean, Rishi said he was going to stop the boats a Come on, Rishi.
Everybody in
Where are
Parliament
you?
knew that that bill was not going to stop the boats.
Yeah. Right,
It
okay.
was, I think we voted 14 times to help that through, so there was no excuse for the government.
Right.
That was the biggest 3.5-hour waste of our lives. In another 3.5 hours, we're not getting back because that bill is not going to stop the boats. And it's very interesting, Andre, that in Leicestershire, in the county of Leicestershire, there are 7 constituencies. The government have put 43% of all the migrants in hotels in my constituency of North West Leicestershire.
No way.
Absolutely, 100%.
Just coincidence.
Just coincidence. I have written to the immigration minister, Mr. Jenrick, to ask him that. Can he explain why they've inflicted this on my constituency?
Yeah.
And can he assure me that no more will be coming until everyone else
that is
their share?
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a bit of a laugh on this show, but I have to say to you, what is very clear to me there is, if you go against the government's immigration failure, you'll be punished by having the migrants move to your community. That's basically the message.
So you're
isn't it?
uniquely placed to say. What's been going on? What?
I've
in your
got constituents ladies who moved into a beautiful village of Kegworth. It's now got the hotel in the middle of that small village. Is 230 migrants, asylum
Young
seekers,
guys.
and it's completely changed the whole atmosphere in the village. People won't go out their homes without their partners with them.
What, 'cause
Are
girls are getting harassed?
are there actually any women and children there, or is it all men?
No, all men. The 2 hotels
All
are
children.
only full of men. And actually, I did a visit round to them last week, and the security guards from Serco will not tell me, the MP, anything about the place or how many people are actually there. They just won't give you any information.
Oh no!
Hello.
It's Robert
Hello?
Jenrick.
Oh my God! It's Owen Jones. Owen says, you don't understand, right? Because you're not gay. You don't understand because you're not gay. You don't understand, right? I'm leaving. There we go. Well done, Owen. We don't understand because we're not gay. Okay. So
everybody knows.
That was my favourite ever clip on Sky. You're not, Julia, you're not gay. Imagine she'd have said, yes, I am. That would have been brilliant. OK, so migrant smugglers are offering a special Kids Go Free deal. Is it true or is it false?
No, it can't be true. It can't be true. No, why would they lose money? No.
It's absolutely true!
That Was the Woke That Was continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was the Woke That Was.
Scientists have discovered eco-friendly paper straws are just as bad for the environment as plastic ones. Is it true or is it false?
None of them are, unless you dispose of them irresponsibly. If you dispose of anything irresponsibly, it's bad for the environment, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, see, I agree with recycling. What used to be my packaging becomes a hill in Cumbria. Right? I think that's absolutely right. Recycled it.
I have to admit, I can be kind of waiting for this story to come out. You know, anything that seems to be like green or the net zero or whatever, eventually turns out to be complete tripe. And
what a surprise!
I remember this story got sent to me, and I was like, do you know what? I'm just not surprised by it at all.
But you also,
it's the same as in supermarkets.
It's the waxing, isn't it?
It's the waxing.
When they stop people using plastic bags in supermarkets, so you have to use paper bags instead, what they discovered is that the transport costs of paper bags is so much higher because the weight, they're much bulkier and much, and they weigh much more. So actually, it's much greener using plastic bags, which are much more.
And as having a 5-year-old myself, I can tell you, he uses 3 paper straws where one plastic one.
for one chocolate milkshake.
Yes.
I must admit, I know lots of people are going to think I'm a bit sad for noticing this, but paper straws do fall to bits. They don't actually work, do they?
Yeah.
Mind you, do you know
a 5-year-old can break anything.
Do you know what the saying? Do you know what the saying in my ear? The saying mentioned that Starbucks got rid of their plastic straws, but they didn't get rid of their plastic cups. No doubt a reference to the fact that I did struggle to rip one up on the camera once.
But no, again,
they were tougher than you thought.
But who here would use a plastic straw?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I love a straw, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Here all week.
I tell you what. I love dad jokes. Well done, lads.
That was from my daughter, by the way.
10 pence for Lance.
I got my 5 million points back.
We'll award you some extra points when the woke rabbit comes in. OK, so have scientists discovered that eco-friendly paper straws are just as bad as plastic straws?
Yeah,
Is it true?
I think it's these forever chemicals things, isn't it? So I'm.
And I think it's the waxing on the inside of them as well. So they're probably certainly not as good as they thought they were going to be.
Yeah, we'll go true.
In any respect, it's absolutely true! OK, one that I hope is false. The Tavistock Clinic has approved a sex change for a young person with 14 mental health conditions. Is it true or is it false?
Well, it's a sad fact, actually, that the vast majority of girls that think that they want to be boys are autistic. And actually, autism is extremely rare until quite recently in girls. And now there's been an increase in the condition, and almost all of the girls that want to be boys are autistic. So mental health conditions, special educational needs go hand in hand with gender dysphoria.
We mentioned Tavistock earlier, and like I said, it was rated inadequate by the Quality Care Commission. It's earmarked to close down. Why is it still going?
No,
and more
I know.
important, why are we having this conversation? I think it's Lord Goldsmith who actually came out on Twitter and he blasted this. And I thought, oh, it's interesting if he's getting on his high horse over something. But I'm staggered by this story.
Why are doctors still offering these operations? I mean, there must be a huge financial incentive. Well,
that's what I'm wondering.
It must be.
We should pass a law that says that it's illegal for doctors to carry out these operations on under 18s.
Yeah,
an imprisonable offence.
But I don't understand how, if you have somebody that you know is mentally ill, to then countenance amputating their genitals as a solution, surely has got to be against some sort of Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't take it anymore.
But surely the general medical. I mean, if I walked in with a blocked nose to my doctor and he amputated my nose,
it'd be an overreaction.
Yeah, well, they'd strike him off for it, and rightly so.
Yeah. And this is what got Tavistock into so much trouble, was the fact that they were pushing people down a particular path. The former head of the trust came out and said that's exactly what they were doing. Was they were all of this particular mindset where the only way to kind of give anybody any care was to push them down this kind of transition path, and this is the big problem, and now we're seeing it, like we said, in Great Ormond Street. We're seeing it throughout our healthcare service, and it's absolutely terrifying.
I think we're going to... Pete, did you just say path?
I did. I realised as I said it.
Where are you from?
Oh, he's got all posh. He's got it. Oh, no.
Hello? It's the Mayor of Wigan. The Mayor of Wigan. Or it got. He says, Pete's been ill recently. You did. You were very... He was in hospital. He says, Pete is reach, but he can't countenance the use of the word path for path. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Did you have a blood transfusion?
I had multiple.
No, that's very interesting, because I suddenly became very good at other things when I had a blood transfusion.
Sorry, no. We're not doing the bogus. We're not doing the bogus science of you've had a blood transfusion, therefore your accent changes. That's not happening.
I've had a blood transfusion. Now I can play the piano and speak French.
Has the Tavistock Clinic approved a sex change for a young person with 14 mental health conditions? Is it true or is it false?
I'm afraid they probably have, and it's a disgrace.
It's absolutely and unfortunately true. India has landed a spacecraft on the moon, while Brits have paid a total of $2.3 billion in foreign aid to the country over the past few years. Is it true or is it false?
It's true, but what's completely bonkers about this story is about 5 or 6 years ago, not sure exactly when, India said to Britain, they don't want our foreign aid anymore. I mean, they don't need it. They actually give more in foreign aid than we do. Wow. They don't need it. So, you know, it is completely mad. The reason we do this stuff now isn't because we're trying to help poor people. It's just a sort of curry favour.
I was waiting for you to say that.
So is Britain trying to curry favour with India?
That's what it's all about, actually. Yeah. I mean, we're sort of funding projects to help with climate change. I mean, it's bonkers. You know, £2.3 billion could go quite a long way.
One of the big problems is they've changed...
sharing information. Is it? Are we funding them to...
We've changed our rules, which I think was really, really wrong, where we can't link aid with foreign soft power. Therefore, we just dole out money to countries that we don't like and who don't like us. But equally, we don't do any deals like we used to do, where we go, we'll build you a new dam if you do defence contracts.
Well, if we're not linking aid with policy, then what was the point of moving foreign aid into the Foreign Office? I mean, I thought that was the whole coordinated approach.
Yeah, I completely agree with
it's crazy that we're giving.
I think one of the biggest problems in this debate is the phrase foreign aid. It does sound like we're just giving them money.
It's money laundering.
Yeah,
Well, money laundering.
Do you remember the Somalian Spice Girls who got a lot of money? I mean, brilliant.
Somalian Spice Spice
The
Girls.
Somalian
Missed
Spice
that.
Girls.
Well, no, I have
What
to
does
admit,
Ginger look like?
Burnt. She looked burnt.
I'm not as much of a foreign aid sceptic as most other people because I do think there is a purpose for it, but I do think we need to have stricter rules on who we're giving money to.
But Pete, the problem with the foreign aid budget is it was Gordon Brownified, admittedly under David Cameron. Gordon Brown always used to go on as a victory for the amount of money he'd spent.
Yeah.
So if he walked into a car dealership and managed to pay £80,000 for a £15,000 car, he would have been absolutely delighted. When David Cameron came in, even though we were in the doo-doo financially, he put a minimum GDP requirement.
Yes.
And they were just giving money away like there was no tomorrow to the stupidest project because the outcome was to spend the money, not to get anything done.
So that I completely agree with. Linking it to GDP was generally the dumbest idea I think this country's had, and that's in a long line of very dumb ideas. But what I would say is we have to be very careful about what we mean when we say foreign aid, because we still do give money in terms of investment, and India invests in us. That I don't mind, and I don't think that should come under the umbrella term of foreign aid. That's my problem of this debate. Is we're having a
charity.
and most people would consider it being helping after a disaster like an earthquake or something. And most people would be perfectly in favour of that. I don't see a problem with that at all. Britain is one of the first on the front lines to help, and I think that's a brilliant thing. What I have a problem with is when we keep kind of bumbling everything together in these big overarching terms, and then when we have these debates, everyone's debating at cross purposes. So I've listened to this kind of conversation for the last week, and I'm like, you're not talking about the same thing that they're talking about. And I think we need to start to divide things up. And I agree with you, Andrew. Putting the Foreign Office and the International Aid Department together was the stupidest thing because we lost expertise.
Who did that?
Well, I thought it was a good thing, but they didn't link them together and link the policies.
And that was the thing. They put the departments together but didn't link the policy. And it's just caused so much trouble. We've lost so much expertise in this. And we have to, I think, we have to start splitting our government up because we're missing things and things are getting lost.
If we're giving money to help, foreign countries and companies sort of, invest in new projects and innovate and so on, rather than give it, why don't we just invest in them?
Yes, and that's part of what we should be doing. And most of the thing we have to remember is actually when we give money for disaster relief, it's not like we write a big cheque. Most of what Britain gives is actually in resources, and more importantly, is our expertise. We send the army in, and it's mainly the engineering.
Oh, we should send the army into Africa.
Well, both of them.
But no, so one of the
That's a bit of a disappointment. They think they're going to get all this cash, and they say, well, actually, what we're going to do is give you some advice.
Yeah.
If somebody did that to me, I'd be really pissed off.
It's like that famous TV programme, we won't name it, where the investment that they get into the company is actually just their own expertise, charged at £5,000
I'm going to do £20,000 worth of expertise for myself.
And my office space as well. No, don't want the office.
But no, I think that's what we need to do when we do foreign aid. But I do think it is used as a political football too much, and I think a grown-up conversation is needed around it. And this over India might be the start of it, but I'm not holding out much hope given the standard of debate.
Foreign aid. I mean, Gordon Brown was always a big supporter of the Barnett formula.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
India's landed an aircraft a spacecraft on the moon, and we give them 2.3 billion in aid. Are both of those facts true?
Yep.
True.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right, get your head on. Come on, Woke Wabbit, come in. Right, Woke Wabbit, we're now OK with Lance, so you are allowed to now give an independent review of the scores. What are the scores, Woke Wabbit?
It is 5 points to Lois and Lance and 0 points.
Yay! OK.
This is like a US general election, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Woke Wabbit. And it's now time...
They were stolen.
Where's Stormy Daniels?
No, you are not. You are not allowed to appeal the result. Otherwise, you'll be criminally charged.
Yes.
So, Gary Lineker, don't just say true. Don't just say true. Gary Lineker has announced he is embracing his true identity of a trans-age individual and now identifies as a baby.
There is now a movement here, and this is part of the whole trans ideology thing, is to remove objective truth. So if you can suddenly say that sex and gender are the same thing, why can't you identify as a different age? Why can't you? Because if you can self-ID on one aspect, surely you can self-ID on every aspect.
So is he saying he's castrated by age? Yeah. I mean, he's a good Leicester boy, just down the road.
I'm going to say so down the road.
My big grudge against Gary Lineker is that before I came into politics in 2010, I was one above him in the Leicestershire Rich List, but I'm nowhere near him now.
Oh! Has Gary Lineker identified as trans age? Is it true or is it false?
We'll go false.
It's absolutely false!
Hooray!
Jeremy Vine thinks cyclists should have priority over cars and that cyclists that go slow should make way for faster cyclists. Is it true or is it false?
I hope it's true, because I've just been banned from driving, so I'm cycling now, so I would actually like to be open.
I will tell you.
Got 6 months to go.
You're going to lose this.
Five.
You're going to lose this quiz if you tell me you wear Lycra shorts.
I don't wear Lycra shorts. You know what I find extraordinary about cyclists, though, is that, I got my points for driving at more than 20 miles an hour. And you see cyclists going at 25, 30, no problem at all, and they don't get any points.
Yeah, but the reason they don't get points is because the only one that's going to get killed is the cyclist. Yeah. So let's be honest.
I know. I find it bizarre that I'm sort of banned from driving because I'm obviously a danger in a car. But I just feel that my life is much more under threat as a cyclist now that I'm forced to cycle. I feel much safer in a car.
And if you're a pedestrian trying to cross on a crossing, when the light's on red, then the cyclists are a danger to you.
I mean, on a serious note, Lance, so I know a little bit about why you got banned from driving, and what you say is it's to do with this 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, which you find virtually impossible to actually keep to. No, on a genuine note, there's a lot of drivers, I don't drive myself, who say that actually 20 miles an hour is virtually impossible in most modern cars.
I've been driving for 43 years now, showing my age.
Really?
Yeah. When you drive down certain roads at 30 miles an hour all your life, your muscle memory doesn't allow you to suddenly drive 20 miles an hour on those same roads. And it's, and you're spending your whole time looking at the speedo rather than the road. It's just a ridiculous. Again, it's all about stopping people driving. That's what it's about.
I've got to
be very uncomfortable.
I've got to be honest with you. I mean, you work late in central London. I work late in central London. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I find it extraordinary when I have to get a taxi home from London Bridge, because obviously I finish after the trains go. London is unbelievable. There's no traffic. All the lights stop you. It's 20 miles an hour. In some areas they've managed to magic traffic jams, even though there's no vehicles, from almost nowhere, because effectively they will put the lights on red for a long period of time. And I keep saying the vast majority of our viewers and listeners are not in London. I accept that, but this is coming to a town or city near you.
Absolutely.
Even when the roads are even when there's almost no cars on the roads are not empty because you're going that slowly. It creates traffic jams. It's extraordinary. Have you found it?
I'm the same. So when we do the late shows together, I'm the same. I'm like, why is it taking me so long to get home? There's nothing in front of me. And like you, Andre, I don't drive, so I'm not really affected by it. I don't cycle because I'm not a sociopath.
Has Jeremy Vine said that cyclists should have priority over cars?
Oh, I don't know. I hope so. Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
It's true.
A new study has found that Brummies have the fewest friends of anyone in Britain. Now, I just want to ask you, Lois, do you want to be able to live a little?
Live a little.
I want to be able to live a lot. I want to be able to enjoy the garden.
We want to be together.
Right.
We want to be together.
Enjoy the garden.
I thought the Birmingham accent was very popular because I thought when they have calls... Oh, no, that's the Newcastle accent.
The Newcastle one.
Yeah, I thought Peaky Blinders sort of changed it a bit, though, made it a bit cooler. But then that's not a friendly accent, is it? Peaky Blinders.
I don't know. So obviously I go to Birmingham when it's Tory Party conference. It's the only time I ever go because I don't understand why anybody would.
I can't believe it. There's only one thing that could make the bull ring worse, and that's Conservative Party conference in it.
I'm going to say, I actually have to be really careful because you don't remember Andy Street, who's the mayor up there, he had a pop on Twitter at a young Conservative activist was saying, why do we always have to schlep up to Birmingham? Nobody likes it. And he absolutely blasted this kid all over social media. And I thought that was quite despicable, actually. But no, I don't really like that. I have to admit, it's quite a slow accent. I mean, we're hardly ones to talk about from where we're from in the country. But...
No, I'm from Lee, you're from Wigan. Wigan is horrendous.
You're just a bus stop in my town.
Is that like the difference between Leigh-on-Sea and Southend-on-Sea? Right, OK. So one's more
Birmingham people are really friendly.
Yeah,
my seat's about 30 miles north of Birmingham in the East Midlands, obviously civilization. But they're really friendly people in Birmingham. The accent is looked down on. If you're not
it is.
30 miles outside Birmingham, apparently it's the worst accent to try and get yourself a job anywhere in the country.
I'm going to say to you, I know why you've just said that, Bridget. You're 30 miles north of Birmingham. That means basically, when they get a few quid in Birmingham, they move to your constituency. And so all of your donors are all Brummies, aren't they? And look at his little face. Look at his little face. Look at his little face. OK, we're going to welcome on the Woke Wabbit because he's going to tell us what he thinks of Birmingham. Come on, Woke Wabbit. What do you think of the lovely city of Birmingham?
I think it's horrendous.
Why?
So they've got that Cadbury's chocolate factory.
Oh, they did.
Chocolate's evil.
Why is chocolate evil?
Yeah.
It kills the environment.
So chocolate's bad for the environment.
It's got dairy and all that stuff in it, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just a plate of cruelty, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's a plate of cruelty. OK, the Woke Wabbit's going to stay. We're going to get the answer from you guys. Is it true or false that Brummies have the fewest friends of anyone in Britain?
Oh, I don't know. Well, look, once they've built HS2, they'll be able to get out and about. They'll have
A suburb of London.
take about 200 years.
Do you know? It reminds me. It reminds me of an American newspaper that once said Manchester, a notorious gay area on the fringes of London.
They said about HS2 that for the £100 billion to do phase 1, to get to Birmingham 30 minutes faster, we could have demolished Birmingham and built it 30 miles north or south for less.
OK, is it true or false about the Brummies?
True.
It's
True.
absolutely true. OK, what are the final scores, Woke Wabbit?
5 points again for Lois and the Salmon Man.
He's like a fish out of water.
Hey!
And 6 points for Peter.
So that's it. So you are coming to the boat party tomorrow. You are paying for the boat party tomorrow. Lucky the Salmon Man's not coming because that's why it won't smell of fish. So congratulations to our winning team and thank you so much for watching over this year. This is our first anniversary. Huge thanks to Chuck Thomas and indeed Matt Thornton. You've not seen him on camera, but he is around somewhere. Also, thank you to Pete and to Lois, my team captains. Until next week, goodbye.
Hey!
Friday nights are changing on TalkTV with not one, but two Mike Grahams. I've got Plank of the Week at 7 p.m. and I've got The World According to Mike Graham at 8 p.m. That's two Mike Grahams for the price of one. It's not what I was told. You'd be mad to miss it.